Hi. Fat Guy Flies RC here, out down here in the man cave. We've already done the unboxing video of the A10. So now well, hold on. Got my brain, got my head up my butt. Let me check something real quick. Okay. All right, well, just want to make sure everything can be seen. It should be okay. Did the unboxing of the A10, got everything out. And according to the manual, the first thing you want to start off with is the tail feathers, tail. Like I said in the other video, I'm going to be using foam tack. Now, the thing with foam tack is you don't want to just slather it on in a great big gob and throw the pieces together and hold them together and say you're good. Because if you do that, you're going to melt your foam. Okay? Foam tack is going to turn the foam to goo. All right, that makes it non-foam safe. What you have to do is you got to get air in there. You take your foam tack, you put on your layer, use a brush or whatever, make a nice, good coat. Push your pieces together. I'm going to demonstrate this. Put your pieces together, pull them apart. Put them together, pull them apart. Pull them together, pull them apart. About 3 times until you'll see connective strings in there. When you got those a good amount of strings in there, then you let the air stay in there. You keep them apart for about a minute, solid minute. You know, hum a little tune, whatever you got to do. Wait about a minute, and then put those pieces together forever. Okay, then they're going to be nice and together. And then now you'll have a nice tacky foam tack, nice bond that will be solid and secure, and you won't have to worry, but it'll be just flexible enough, just enough to where if someday you want to remove it, you can without doing too much damage. It will really keep you nice and secure. In my experience is that when you use even good quality CA, that over years and time, the CA, yes, it's nice, it's got it strong, and it'll service you really well. However, over time, it becomes a little brittle. And if it becomes brittle, you tap it just right or something right, and then next thing you know, you got a part falling off. Foam tack keeps just enough rubbery quality to it to give a little give and take, which is what you want. It doesn't affect the performance, still solid, it's not going to have any problems. Another alternative to foam tack is you who pour, which they use in most of the rest of the world. We use foam tack in the United States, same kind of stuff. But the first thing we're going to do, we've already done the unboxing. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to check. This is me. This is a free build tip. I don't charge for this. We're going to check, and yes, I'm using my old-fashioned checker. Yes, I do have the nice fancy new one. I like this one. That's just me. But we're going to check, make sure that our control surfaces are working, and we don't have any issues, because once we glue all this together, we certainly don't want to have to tear it apart. And see right there, that thing's already centered perfect. So we know that servo works. We know it's centered nice. Okay, take that, put that off the side, get the other rudder. We're going to remember light to light, dark to dark, anytime you're putting this stuff together. Look at that. Sounds great, looks great. You know, that one just sounds differently to me. Maybe it's a different brand, maybe a different, anyways, let me, that's fine. Just me. All right, so we know both them servos work good. We know they're centered, everything's centered. And so here you got your elevator. Take that piece of packing tape they got on there. Another thing, I point this out in the unboxing, I'll point it out again here, is anytime you're putting, I don't care, if you're using 5-minute epoxy, you're using Yoo-hoo, or U-pour, you're using foam tack, anytime you put planes together and you're going to put painted parts next to painted parts, you need to sand that paint off to where you've got bare foam touching bare foam. That gives you a good seal, because otherwise you're just putting paint to paint, and then if that paint gives way, guess what else gives way? The whole part. So we don't want that. All right, so here we've got our elevator. okay, with 2 servos in there for the elevator, because we want to have good, strong connection on that. And they're already joined, or actually they're each one rudder. So we're going to check each of these rudders individually. Light to light, dark to dark. Make sure it works. Yep, it works. That one works just fine. We're going to check the other one. I suspect we're going to have the same issue, no problem. That works just fine. Okay, and now in here also is the connection for the rudder. Obviously we can't check that just yet, but we'll get to it. We're going to start off, folks. Oh, by the way, whenever you do have a servo checker and you've got a battery, don't leave it hooked up, because you might forget it. Like I did one time, left it hooked up to my servo tester overnight, and then I came back the next day and that battery had bled out completely dead. And a perfectly good battery is now a paperweight. Okay, so now we know all of the mechanical pieces to our rudder and elevator work just fine. So now we're going to go about the business of gluing everything together. Now, this is obviously the bottom of the elevator. So, where you've got your wires, that's the top. Okay? Well, you can tell you're going to put the correct one on because, looky there, the angle of attack would be like that. Okay? There are little channels on here that you're going to feed your servo wire in. So always do a test fit. Let that fit in there just like that. And your rudder should come out. There's a little channel right there. And that little channel is where that rudder servo wire is going to feed into. There's a connect here. An improvement they've done on this from the original release, we have a locking mechanism on here. So, we know that's the bottom. We know that's how that's going to, the wire is going to dangle down there. It's going to fit just there like that. So, let's go ahead and let's remove the little rudder tag. We don't need it. Okay. We're going to take a brush. Okay. And we're going to put a little bit of our foam tack everywhere, all down in there. All nice and pretty. Get that all down in there. Okay. Alright, and we're going to take a brush. If you get it on the painted foam, don't let that bother you any. No big deal. Okay. Get that all down in there. We're also going to take the part of the elevator, but this is going to secure too. And we're going to paint, put some nice foam tack everywhere we have the white exposed foam. Put some foam tack on there, okay, and then give yourself a nice even brush coat. Okay, like that. Set that off to the side, making sure your wire dangles down. Fit that wire into that groove there. Let's see how you do it. Make sure that wire goes in that little groove. It's obvious. Don't let it fret you. It's obvious. Okay, go ahead and hook the wire up while you're here before the foam tack sets up, light to light, dark to dark. Okay, and your servo connection. You see them thing. All right, and then pull that apart. See this? If you can see the strings starting to form, put it back together again. Okay. All right, and then pull it apart again. You see the strings starting to form. Put it back together, pull it apart one more time. Now we're gonna let this kind of sit. Okay. Blah 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 blah. Set that off the side for just a moment. Take this time to put your foam tack cap back on. They also give you a really nice insert in here to tell you where all these little stickers go. That's just in the instructions, and folks, you paid $350 for the Bind & Fly A10. Take the time to put these stickers on. Just take a little piece of tweezers and put them on. They'll stick right on. They tell you where to go, and you shouldn't have any problem. Oh, another rule about putting models together: you always have to drink coffee, and you must glue your fingers together. It's just, I don't make the rules, okay? But that's something you got to do. All right, let me get a sip of coffee. I want to say that's been about a minute now. We've got plenty of air down in there. And we're going to make sure that wire is in that little channel there. And it is sitting down there nice and pretty. And boy, that sucker, that foam tack is tacky. Hence the name foam tack. It is in there. Yeah, that well, hold on. That's not. Yeah. Use your table as your friend. Make sure that's in there good and seated. Hold that in there. Try to hold it together as best you can for maybe 10-15 seconds, you know. That foam tack, boy, once she gets stringy like that and she gets tacky, she grabs. I mean, she's strong, okay? And I'm telling you right now, that is a good seal. That is a good seal. And you can tell that's a good 90 degrees. Okay, that bad boy ain't coming off. Okay, that is not coming off now. Okay, yeah, especially once that kind of sets up overnight or a couple of hours at least, you're good to go. So, all right, got that in there nice. Very happy with that. And then one thing you want to remember, I hooked up that rudder, right? Hey, well, you know what? I don't want to do that. You really shouldn't. While you're waiting for glue to set like that, you really shouldn't test servos. Let that foam set up real well. Now, something I do, you can do if you want. You don't have to. I like to put a little bitty bead of glue along the edge of a seam, you know, and I can always wipe off the excess later on. You know, people say, well, that's kind of overkill. Yeah, it is. But that's just me. And what I'll do is I'll take that brush then. And yeah, it does kind of, it doesn't look good, but it just gives me a little extra peace of mind. It's just for me. You don't have to do it. It's just for me. But I like to just, you know, that's just me though. All right. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm happy with that. We're going to set that up like that. Let the weight of that fit in there. Turn our attention to this other one. Again, you're going to want to clip off, just don't clip the wires, your little thing there, little tag tells you that it's a rudder. And let's go in there and put some foam tack down in there. Okay. Make that all nice and happy and pretty. Okay. Paint that all up in there like that. Take this half here. We're going to do the same thing. I'll put a little foam tack on there, just kind of, you're not going to go crazy with it, but you're going to give it a decent amount. Okay. Everywhere where it's white, you got the white. Okay, put that all in there nice and pretty. Go ahead and take the time to put the cap on your foam tack. Save it. It's about $8 a bottle, so you want to paint that on there to make it nice. The reason you paint it is just to spread it out, to give a nice, even surface for the glue to be on there. All right, take that off the side. Go ahead and make sure, go ahead and let's fish out that connector. Okay. And this time I think I'm going to hold off and not connect it until I got it all in there. Okay. Remember that servo wire is going to sit in that channel there. And you're going to just slide that bad boy. You'll feel it. It's in there. Slide that bad boy in there. Then pull it apart. See the strings? Slide that bad boy in there. Pull it apart. Strings. More strings. Slide apart one more time. Now would be a good time to make sure that your servo, use the back of your knife, is nice there in that channel. Well, I just pulled it apart. And I got it lined up though. And then just kind of sit for a little bit, about a minute or so. You know, think about the weather. Think about your wonderful wife or your significant other who puts up with your crap and puts up with all your planes. Letting air, you're going to let air get in there to really activate that foam tack and to make it tacky. And when it's nice and tacky and you got them strings going on, you know you're there. You know it's ready. Okay, that's maybe not quite a minute, but that looks pretty good. I mean, I got some nice and tacky. Feels good. All right. Yeah, it's in there. Go ahead and hook up our tail, light to light, dark to dark. Okay. Alright, see, dark's on top there. So get that in there good. Alright, well, see, now maybe it would have been easier if I would have attached this before I tacked it on, but I just tried something different. I can reposition it. I got a little bit of time where I can reposition that. And that's not one thing about foam tack. It actually takes a good while for it to truly set. Alright, we're light to light, dark to dark. Got that in there. Then little locking tabs have engaged now. Okay, and you can feel it engage. If you hear, you may even hear a little click there. Okay, get that down there. All right. And if you got a little bit of that, still that little bit of that thing that says rubber label still on there like I do, remember you're going to cover that with that masking decal tape they give. Look at that nice 90-degree angle. That looks real good, and that is in there. Okay, now something that I did on the other one, I like to put a little bead along the edge. And like I said, that's just me. It doesn't look that good, but for the underside, and just gives me a little extra peace of mind. That's just me. You don't have to do that. And by the way, get an actual glue brush too. Don't. This is just an old paintbrush, and I'm going to throw it away. So it just looks better. Throw that away. Dang it, can't throw it away yet. Not done with it. Not quite done. So, anyways. Well, all right. Remember here, put my fingers together. But the nice thing, if you get on your fingers, you just roll them together and it just balls right up and comes off. So that is that. Okay, we're going to let that go off to the side here for just a minute. All right, we're going to turn our attention, well, still to this. We're going to let that set off to the side for just a minute. While that is, you know, quote unquote curing, let that sit right there. Okay. We're going to go ahead and put the wing on. All right. Let that sit there. Now, the wing. Okay, folks. Come on. The wing is so easy. All you got to do, make sure you got your model to where you. Now, here's a situation where the model doesn't really fit the stand. So this is where I would like to go to. Hey, let's use that foam we talked about. Let's use the foam we talked about in the unboxing. Okay? Take these 2 pieces of foam, set them down there, and voila! Look, I've got a nice working space, and the foam takes the impact, not the surface of the plane. This is so simple, folks. All you're going to do now, take this plane. I haven't, and you know, this will be the test fit, but probably you want to support it with your other hand. I don't even have to test fit it. That's it. It's in there. Okay? You feel it. It's obvious. It's very obvious. It clicks right in. Okay, so let's go ahead and here, let me show you, just to show you. Okay? Kind of rock it back and forth a little bit. Comes right off of there. You see, quick connects has these poles here are leads to help guide the servos in. Everything's protected, and it's obvious how it goes in. But I'll show you one more time. Put your hand out there to support it. Line it up, and you'll feel it just kind of sink in there. It's obvious, folks. Very obvious. Not a problem. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Okay. I love that phrase. I really do. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What am I not setting on? Okay. Now, you're going to need, for the only 4 screws you have, you're going to need a 2mm hex drive, because you are supplied with 4 2mm hex screws. And just drop them bad boys in there, just like so. And just like if you've ever put a tire, a completed wheel, onto a vehicle, you alternate how you tighten them down. Got the one there. You'll see this edge here sinking down. You'll feel it really get a real tight resistance and just get just a snug. That's as tight as you're gonna go, then back off half a turn. Come back here. You'll see a little seam here. Okay. Might have to press it down a little bit. Okay, get that. Got this plastic doubler that supports it all. Now, sometimes you may have to readjust. Like this one sunk right in. You'll feel it hit. You'll feel it grab. It's obvious. Very obvious. All right, my makeshift thing is starting to back nice and tight, and then back off half a turn. You want to give that a little bit of, because foam will expand with heat, so you want to give it at least a little bit of room to expand. That's why I go half a turn off. Okay. All right, see that lined up right there and tighten down all the way, and then back off about half a turn. Okay. And then, oh, hold on. Hold on. All right. Let's go to this last one here. Tighten this one up. Oh, and it lined right up because the other three lined up. All the way tight. And then go off half a turn. Okay, now that is on there. Now something that I do, it's just my own craziness. I like to shake it. And I can put my fingers, feel that seam. There's no give. There's no give. That sucker's on there. Okay? So now let's go back. Oh, drop my tool. Let's go back. Put that in here. Okay, we're going to pause the video for just a minute, find out who was calling, and I'll be right back.